Average Joe travels the California Inscape. Season 7. Dummies, Dolls, and Detectives. Episode 2. Dine, Dash, and Drive. Story conceived and written by Penguin Pete. Featuring the vocal stylings of This Is Signal, with Asher Ephraim as Spanky, and the Inscape theme by Ignore That Door.
I got the map here to the St. Louis Obispo area. Just head west out to the highway and hit the PCH south, and it's palm trees and beach breezes all the way. We hit the jackpot with this case. The Leopold Theater is just blocks from the beach, and we have a whole week to poke around looking for the trail of Carson What's-Its-Name.
And that's a suspicious amount of luggage for someone planning a business trip.
Well, you don't expect me to ride shotgun going south on the Pacific Coast Highway and not have a selection of stylish sunglasses and sunblock. And, of course, my copy of Madame Mopinski's latest Dishio Cult bestseller.
And the swimsuits?
Look, I'm not getting close to the Pacific Ocean without at least dipping a toe. Try and stop me. Anyone? Sustained. Besides, Agent Cooper said the Russians might be tailing us, so we can at least use the beach vacation as subterfuge.
I hate the ocean. The reek of bronzed fish, the salty wind, it's all terrible for my complexion and my sinuses. A showman of my caliber has to keep up.
If you give me 5 minutes in my apothecary, I can whip up a potion for your seasickness.
Herbal remedies and I don't agree too well.
Is Samantha coming with us? Anybody?
I left her with Starwing. She's more of a fire familiar anyway. She's not fond of the open water. Besides, Morale has shared with us that he's allergic to cats, too.
Muriel, it sounds like you're allergic to life. Spanky, what are you packing for the trip?
A set of earplugs.
Muriel?
I am quite prepared for travel. In my tour of the Far East, I traveled by camel and stayed at the most luxurious palaces of the...
I know you're packed. You just got here, and you didn't unpack.
A true professional magician always travels light.
So I was asking, do you know why we're going? We're going to get to the Leopold Theater and book an entrance to their ventriloquism night competition. Muriel, you'll be attending to that monkey business up on stage while the rest of us snoop backstage. Here's the puppet Mr. Cooper gave us. Might as well start practicing.
But Mr. Cooper was most adamant about keeping the doll hidden from the public. Might the Russian agents not recognize it?
I can stop at the beauty shop and pick up a wig. Then 10 minutes with my makeup bag and the audience will never know the difference. Also, my tarot cards say as far as the Russians go, the coast is clear. No pun intended.
I assure you that I shall not fail in my duty as a decoy showman. The stage is my destiny and my calling. Why, in my illustrious career as the understudy of the great Zamboni.
Right, that's fine. Save it for your biography. I'll be sure to buy a copy. Just you be sure you know how to make the dummy's mouth go up and down.
He needs more practice doing that?
Gah! This hideous contraption weighs a ton. Who makes a dummy out of solid iron?
I'm guessing most ventriloquists are in better shape. Anyhow, anchors away.
Young fellow.
I'm older than your feckin' country, bucko.
Very well, but I'm sure that a man of your stature is aware of the endless opportunities in showbiz for your type. I could always do well with an assistant the next time I tour. Picture your name on the marquee under Muriel the Magnificent, prognosticator and professor of arts mystic and ancient.
I can picture you working in my great-granny's biscuit factory.
Social graces aren't Spanky's long suit. In fact, at his height, nothing is his long suit. It was hard enough getting him to work for us. Anyhow, we should be focusing on the case. I have a stop in mind to check by Mr. Carson's residence, and it's right nearby, there in Santa Margarita.
Oh, Margarita sounds good right now, even if it is with Santa. Spanky, those earplugs sound like a good idea. I'm gonna try reading over here.
Oh, when are we stopping? I should require sustenance and a chance to get my blood flowing in my legs again.
We'll hit the county line inside of 40 minutes, especially with my driving skills.
But surely we could seek out an inn of rest and restoration? There are only so many days on the road a man could stand.
We just left a couple hours ago. Hey, make the dummy talk. Let Muriel talk more ventriloquism. We'll get a stop when we get to Mr. Rocket Scientist's last known address. Now, let's play the quiet game.
Feast on the beavers and the artichokes, and sacrifice the lambs to the dolphins, and shed her brother-in-law's blood upon his stepsister's feet, and consume mighty logs of timber and produce more sawdust. Yea, taking over your children through his vices on Earth. Films from Lumens International, comic books from the Magic Eye Bookshop, demon summoning kits from the Academy of Mystic Art.
What happened next when we arrived at Jack Carson's hilltop estate in Santa Margarita caught us completely off guard. I had to admit, hours on the road tend to leave me a little flat-footed when I get out and walk around again. I'm half a second slower putting details together. We pulled into the long driveway to Carson's garage. The property was just short of a mansion. The lawn, gardens, and hedges were spotlessly kept. If this fellow had skipped town, he was still keeping the landscapers on payroll. All of us but Spanky got out when we parked, halfway down the driveway. For reasons only the muses of Mount Olympus could fathom, Muriel the Magnificent elected to carry the dummy with him. Okay, fine by me. You keep practicing. Anne and I were here to check out this guy's vaudeville magician poster collection, his alleged makeshift garage rocket fuel laboratory, and whatever else might tell us a clue. Perhaps we could even save us a trip to this puppet theater anyway. We approached the garage, and I heard a humming noise come out of it, like a generator. Anne was ready to skip right in, detecting no occult threats. But I tapped her elbow, and we both stopped to see a light in one of the house windows blink. We stayed frosty. Muriel, on the other hand, was tripping on the ridiculous stage get-up he wore, including an actual cape, the opposite of Frosty. He struggled with the dummy, and then that dummy flew through the air away from him, right past Anne and I, to stick itself to the middle of the closed garage door with a deafening... Muriel struggled to pry it loose, and I mentally paged through back issues of Popular Mechanics to put words to what we were seeing. An electromagnet. As I got closer, I felt it tugging on my watch, too. I also remembered how the dummy had smelled to me like something flammable, gasoline or kerosene maybe. Now I smelled charred everything, like the entire city had burned down, even though there was no evidence of a fire visible. The dummy, plastered to the garage door, began to shoot off sparks. That's when the proverbial penny finally dropped. This was a trap. I yelled at everyone to cheese it back to the car, and once we were all in, started it up and threw it into reverse. I was just turning it back onto the street when the explosion came. Jack Carson's entire house went up. Thanks to the sprawling property around it, it was neatly contained, but nothing remained of his own home but a charred crater. Carson's crater, if you will. Having lost both the prime piece of evidence and the only known residence for our target, we all sat numbly and watched the flames in disbelief. Santa Margarita Fire Department showed up, and we elected to make ourselves scarce at a diner I had noticed just a couple blocks south en route. Debbie's Diner. We grabbed a corner booth and got to watch the plume of smoke out the windows, along with a trademark rosy California sunset.
That was a trap.
Indeed, an impressive display of technical brilliance. The great Houdini himself would be proud to produce such a spectacle.
Yes, I have to admit, this was a new one on me. I dropped a dime at the payphone to summon Cooper. We'll see what he says, even if it's "you're fired."
This one isn't on us. That wasn't a trap for just anyone either. It was rigged to only blow up if someone came back with that particular dummy. And that explosion! Lucky it didn't blow us all the way to Gilwedgie.
I know. And yet, last episode was titled The Dummy Decoy, and I still didn't put it together.
Oh, these tarot cards are useless at detecting bombs. I mean, I had an inkling there was something fishy about that dummy, but how could I know?
Madam, may I presume to be inquisitive, but what tricks do you do with these cards?
Look, Houdini, this isn't theater. I do real magic, witchcraft magic, ancient occult secrets magic.
As do I, madam. We all have our stage patter, but just to say we are behind the stage curtain now, so to speak. You can tell me how you actually...
No, I use real magic. Like that fireball spell you saw me cast with my wand to light a cigarette?
Lighter fluid on a sufficiently combustible stick can accomplish as much.
What? Oh, right, wise guy. Lightning from the same wand. Explain that.
Most impressive, madam, but the mysteries of the electricity are not beyond a competent engineer. The great Tesla demonstrated...
What the? That's not... I have caught demons and ghosts. I have busted necromancers carrying a copy of the Necronomicon. I have a cat familiar who can teleport.
Conjuring animals always pleases the audience. I have both produced and vanished doves, rabbits, and adorable trained rats.
Oh, forget it. Just stay in your showbiz lane.
Let me get this straight. You don't believe in any magic?
We worked carefully to craft the illusion, my good fellow. There is magic twinkling in the eye of every child beholding the spectacle.
You're talking to a leprechaun.
You know, come to think of it, I never see Samantha teleport. Well, obviously no one sees anyone teleport, that's the whole point, but she just shows up. She'll be napping in the one chair you didn't look in, or walk out from behind something, and then she just wanders off when she's done.
You're not helping. Agent Cooper, 7 o'clock.
Good evening. Cozy group you have here. Mind if I join you? Sure thing, Chief. Best seat in the house. Great view of local disasters. Yes, I see. Those men in the protective suits and the white vans, they're our lab team. No human remains found, so Operation Howdy Doody is still on. We do need a dummy.
Besides Morel, that is.
You'll have to find a replacement. Or perhaps Mr. McDongle could rise to the occasion.
I'll carve a dummy out of myself before I sit on somebody's lap like a right tosser.
Regardless, keep your assignation at the Leopold Theater. Our sources point to no direct Russian involvement. Mr. Carson, it would seem, was working alone. He doesn't want to be found, especially not by anybody towing a dummy around. To remind you of the briefing contents, Mr. Joe, Jack Carson was noted for being paranoid and secretive, but this incident confirms the extent to which he will go. Be extra careful how you tread going forward. We'll try to keep the exploding ventriloquist's dummy incidents down to the one. Don't fret. That's how intelligence works out sometimes. But as long as you keep gathering information, you can't lose. Thank you for your company. I must be going.
Hold on a moment. Did he actually just call us Operation Howdy Doody?